back. Episode 27, Hungary GP. We got that race this weekend. It'll not be a repeat of last year where Esteban Ocon won it when the planets aligned. But yeah, what an intro to this week's episode. We got pre-race talk, pre-weekend talk. See what we're doing this weekend with all these drivers. We got upgrades coming. Last race before summer break. Lots to unpack here. What are we doing?
What we are doing is we got breaking news coming out of the Ferrari camp. First of all,
Oh my god!
team principal Mattia Binotto said not only are they aiming for a win, but they're aiming for a 1-2 finish. Man, can you believe that they're going for the same goal as Mercedes and Red Bull and HAAS and all the other teams.
It's almost like that could be the common goal of almost every team on the grid, wouldn't you say, Chris?
No, I think McLaren would be happy with just
They're just
7th.
happy to be here at this point.
They're just happy to be. But honestly, no shit, you should be going for a 1-2. What?
I love the slight dramatic pause before that because, you're right. It's like, dude, okay, Benito, let me get this straight. You're trying to win. Holy hell, that's revolutionary. I never would have thought that any of these teams participating this year weren't already trying to win. Thank you for the most obvious fucking question that you could give me in an F1 interview. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I don't get it, man. It doesn't make sense. But anyways, yeah, driver standing. We'll just breeze through these updates. Max obviously is taking the cake. He's the best.
Oh yeah,
no questions asked.
he's got cake.
Then
What?
Charles Leclerc's following him. He's had an issue in the last race. He went off the track on his own. It wasn't mechanical failures like I had hoped it was. So sucks. And then behind him is Checo, who's probably going to pass him soon once we have more Ferrari problems. And
Because
then
it's inevitable.
then behind Checo we got Carlos, who's like 1 point ahead of George Russell. So crazy stuff is happening here. But yeah, that's our top 5 drivers. And then obviously Red Bull is winning the constructors by a long shot.
Yeah, even in an interview that came out that Matteo and everyone at Ferrari, they're still confident. Which you have to carry this level of confidence regardless of the situation you're in because you still got to win something. But he is convinced and refuses to concede victory to Max and Red Bull because he is still convinced that Ferrari can win the next 10 races in a row. Now, is it a long shot? Yeah. Is it possible? Yeah. But with the way they're doing it now and the delusional interviews he's been giving the past couple of days, acting like Ferrari, is in such a good place, I don't even know where to start with that team right now, dude. They have a couple upgrades coming, but good God, I don't know. I don't even know where to start with them going forward.
Well, maybe Carlos Sainz's engine explosion really taught them a lesson about the engine, and they solved reliability.
Maybe. So okay, listen, you're right. Maybe we'll start from a clean slate from this last French Grand Prix and onward. Maybe.
I don't believe it. I'm just saying maybe.
I don't believe it. I'm just saying, it could happen. You're right. It could happen, but like we said, is Ferrari going to continue to Ferrari? Probably. So, moving on from that, we have the Hungary GP, the GP. Esteban Ocon won last year. That's about all I can say on it, really. What's your take on the Hungary Grand Prix?
I think this is a track that Ferrari should do good at. It's just look at it on paper and it has what they would want. There's basically just one super long straight where Red Bull's probably they're gonna charge hard, obviously,
That's true.
but
Yeah.
the whole back end of the track is, or after the first sector, it's all just twisty turns, and the Ferrari has way better downforce in the corner, so they should be able to. I don't know. I'm hoping it's a cat and mouse race, oh, Ferrari's building the lead in the corners. Oh, Max Verstappen's catching him on the straights, and then I don't know. We'll see what happens.
See, I want it to be like that I would love for it to be like that. Actually, the problem is that if it is like that, I'm still chalking up a Red Bull win because Ferrari's going to lose on strategy. Like
Strategy
it's
and Max. I don't know. There's just a pressure that these drivers feel when Max is chasing them. And
yeah,
last weekend, Leclerc couldn't handle it, and he spun out.
dude, he could. It is weird because this is the second time we've seen it now. We've seen it Leclerc chasing and like defending Max, chasing Max. He loses focus. You know, Max literally was driving perfect in Imola, and Charles pushed too hard and lost focus, and kind of spun out, building the pressure of trying to catch that gap. Now you see Charles try to keep the gap, and Max literally just relentlessly catches it. He inevitably catches anyone ahead of him, unless they literally have like a 2 lap freaking advantage. But so far, he's been able to almost effortlessly in that Red Bull catch everyone in front of him. So
And
it is a different kind of pressure.
it's crazy how like he spun out after Max pits also. Like Max pit for new tires, and then Ferrari's like, all right, push now, push, and he was pushing. Like I saw some comparison. He was going about like 15 kilometers an hour faster into that turn than he was in the previous lap, and or maybe it's they had a 15 kilometer per hour advantage in that corner. I don't know. Either way, he was booking it through there. He was going super fast and just had a little snap oversteer, and that was all she wrote. And he's into the barrier. But yeah, I mean, that was the corner for him to gain to build any gap because that was their fastest sector, and he actually set a fastest mini sector right before that corner. So that just kind of tells you how fast he was pushing.
Oh no,
And
he was pushing, and when Max gives you clear air and he pits, and you have the green light to go, that is supposed to be a good thing. The problem is that I'm going to go ahead and play devil's advocate. I mean, what did Ferrari expect telling him to push? And of course, it would lead to a spin out, bro. You told this guy to push with like 70% front tire degradation. You could see the grading on all of his tires. The dude is seconds away from spinning out, which it's still his fault. Like I'm not trying to take away from it. It's still his fault. He could have managed the tires a little bit better, but he has to push right there. And unfortunately, you create that pressure on your drivers because you can't just sit around and wait for what Red Bull's going to do. So far, in the last couple of weekends, especially the last couple of weekends, Ferrari has just hard countered whatever. They're just hard countering whatever Red Bull does. They just wait. They're like, all right, what's their pit window? All right, Max is coming in. I don't think I've seen, unless it's been for a technical problem. I don't think I've seen the Ferrari pit before the Red Bulls yet.
I don't think so either.
Like that.
Yeah,
That's
one
another thing.
two things to note on that also, like you said, is they were saying on the radio that the tire degradation was like either 2 laps or 20% or 2 seconds worse than they expected. So they already were off. Their data was already off drastically, and the tires were way worse. And then the commentators are saying, "No, this track is really good for the undercut." And what does Red Bull do? They do the undercut because they have great strategy.
Yeah, it's
Ferrari,
almost like everybody under the sun knows what to do.
so yeah, Ferraris. Uh, but let's talk a little bit more about the other teams at this track. I think we're gonna see a strong performance from Mercedes because their car's been shown to be pretty good in the twisty sections,
Yeah.
and I think McLaren can do pretty good on this track as well.
They can. You know what? I am optimistic about this weekend with McLaren. Daniel Ricciardo is optimistic about this weekend. He wants to end right before the summer break on some positives going into the break. There's apparently that there's been mixed feelings in the McLaren garage about the upgrades. Lando's apparently playing catch up, quote unquote, to Daniel's car, which I guess now Daniel's car has accepted the upgrades a little bit better, and they've tuned it to where he feels great. Which honestly, I can tell the last couple races he seems a little bit more. Yeah, is the pace all the way there yet? No, but he seems a little bit more comfortable in the car. Now, on the flip side, if Lando feels uncomfortable, I think I'm. It almost impresses me more because the fact that he's still out qualifying, he's still high in the pace, he's finding it somewhere. So that's good signs for McLaren. But like you said, this track actually caters to them beautifully. So I expect them to actually do fairly well. I'm going to say, obviously, I don't want to say double points finish, which I think both cars make it into Q3, looking a little bit better. I think that'll be great. McLaren has like they upgraded this past weekend and maybe a little bit this weekend, but they're trying to just tone in both of the cars on the same level. At least bring them up to Danny Rick's level right now because apparently his car's better. But yeah, there's a couple more upgrades. Tell me about that Haas, dude.
Oh, you mean that white Ferrari?
White Ferrari. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know. You're the first one to tell me about the white Ferrari. So what do they got going on?
All right. So apparently, nobody knows for sure yet, but Gunther has gone on record the past couple days, if not today, saying that this weekend it you'll see the physical change on the Haas. There's
Hmm.
been a couple upgrades here and there to where like it could be to the floor, the ground effects,
There was like a
aerodynamics.
ERS upgrade they did.
Yeah, you're right. The and which after that ERS upgrade, you could tell they upgraded. That that
That's
that
when we started seeing points from Mick.
And lo and behold, goes back to the beginning of I know Gunther wanted to rock with no upgrades until all the energy was extracted. But dude, you made one upgrade and you got regular double points finishes now. And now they're like, yes, it could resemble a quote unquote white Ferrari. It's heavily inspired by the F-175. It's heavily like that's what we're hearing. So obviously, I'm going to go ahead and guess it's a slight change to the side pod design, which they already kind of looked like a white Ferrari. It was the closest car to the Ferrari.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting a side pod change. Maybe we might see some more aggressive downforce angles with the front and rear rings. I don't I don't know, but I'm gonna go ahead off rip say there might be a side pod change and there might be a ground effects change. I think that's what we're gonna look for the Haas this weekend.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, last weekend it looked like McLaren they kind of got a Red Bull-esque side pod upgrade to their car,
They did. They
and
added some more contours.
honestly that seems to be the right call for them because we were saying they've been struggling on the straight lines, and if you want to improve your straight line speed, the car you want to follow is definitely the Red Bull, and
Well, damn.
it seems like Haas wants to keep with the Ferrari principle and be fast in the corners, and maybe that just caters better to their engine anyways. So
If McLaren's trying to be the Red Bull, what the hell's Aston Martin trying to do right now? Because that upgrade didn't do anything.
I mean, like we said, there's so much on the underside of the car that you cannot see. Like
That's true.
you can't copy the floor of the Red Bull car. Like how are you going to get in there and figure that out? Like you just see the outside, you see, but you don't see what all is going into it, what's under it. So there's still a lot more that meets the eye, you know. Aston Martin was an illusion.
Aston Martin was an illusion. I mean, yeah, no, you're right. You can't you can't sit there and try to copy and then wonder why yours doesn't work and the other team's does when because you obviously just don't know all the bits to it. But
Damn,
yeah,
maybe I should copy the paint too.
maybe I should copy. I'm gonna paint ours Aston Martin blue now. Screw the green. I'm like, dude. I mean, it's a perfect example. It just goes to show you can't just try to look like the winning car and hope it plays out the same way because obviously that's not the case. But I mean, apparently we have Haas wanting to be the white Ferrari, which I don't think they're wanting to be by choice. It just happens to be, hey, that's like the quickest thing we can do. And according to our development, according to our sister company, according to our data, we're allowed to be a white Ferrari. So sweet, we're gonna do it. And it's like that. I mean, why would I'd do it too? So I'm actually super excited to see where the Haas ends up this weekend in qualifying and the final standings.
Yeah, I think I'm Ferrari fan first, Haas fan second, and then Red Bull third. Those are my top three.
Yeah, that's fair.
But actually, I don't know. I don't know how I can say that because I freaking love Mercedes also, and I just want to get into it a little bit. Lewis Hamilton, I think
Yeah,
this year is kind of proven that he is the greatest of all time.
it's finally here, everyone. Chris has
And
finally won to stand on his pedestal. He wants to stand on that number one podium, and he's rocking with LH right now.
yeah, I mean, like, okay, the start of the season wasn't the best for him. Everyone can admit that, but he was also the guinea pig for a lot of the upgrades that Mercedes did. They definitely designed a stinker at first. It wasn't very great. And Lewis Hamilton said, "Sure, I'm the veteran. Who are you going to trust advice, me or George Russell? You're going to upgrade my car and we're going to see what happens." I'm sure he didn't say it like that because he's a
I think
gentleman. He's
I
for
yeah, I
Lewis
was about to
Hamilton.
say I think it's assumed in the room. You're right.
And then so yeah, he had some struggle bus races, but the last three podiums, out qualifying George Russell, finishing ahead of him. Lewis Hamilton's back, and the best part about this season, now that the Mercedes isn't light years ahead of the competition, you get to see Lewis Hamilton not start in P1, and boy, do you really get to see how good his race starts are, because he's hawking everyone right off the rip. I don't think I've seen him have a bad start all season.
That's you made that point a couple days ago after this race, and I never thought about it that way or saw it that way. And you're totally right. Seeing Lewis Hamilton in, let's say, the middle of the grid or towards the front or starting, P5, P6, or even P4, it's given me a whole newly found, because I mean we've only seen Lewis Hamilton dominate. We became fans in like 2018, 2019, even 2020. We that's when we became fans. Now we haven't seen Lewis Hamilton in the middle of the pack or towards the front or not at the top. So we're just used to we're programmed to see him in clear air, nothing to worry about. Now you can actually see his skills. You can really see how good his starts are. You can really see how he uses everybody else's movements to play into his advantage. You can really see, like, you're right. I mean, I might actually be 100% in agreement with you. I think he is showcasing this year why he's the greatest of all time, because now he's in an inferior machine compared to the last two vehicles he's had. He's like, and it's, but that's the thing, it's getting there. Mercedes graph, I don't think has negatively trended at all this year. They started
No,
from the bottom and
they
now
might
they're
have
here.
had they might have had a little down weeks, here and there, but yeah, like overall the trend has been going up. But also, like, I'm just thinking back, like in the Saudi Arabian race where he didn't even want to be in the race, and you could
Nope.
see his racecraft on full display. And then there's other races where he's like, just let's just save the car, save the engine, and then they're like, nah, keep going, Lewis. You got to go hammer time. And then what does he do? He ends up back in the top of the grids, in like the top five. You're like, dude, how does he do it?
Yeah, no, it's exactly what you're saying. We're finally seeing him in a scenario to where his racecraft has to be put on display, and damn it, it has been. Like I can't. Some people argue that he's not the best, or some people this that, and the other. I think this year, just with him being in a machine that isn't quite as good as it has been the past couple of years, or quite as dominant, or quite as this. I think seeing his racecraft, seeing his experience, seeing his data extraction from the car,
Race pace,
dude, his race pace, the
starts, this all of it. Put it
literally
all
everything,
together.
like top down of what you need in a driver. You're totally right. I mean, he might be the GOAT, Chris. He might be the GOAT.
Yeah, I think he is. Personally, to me, he is. But take this with a grain of salt. We weren't around or watching F1 when Michael Schumacher was in his prime and running stuff. So, you know,
That's true. And Michael Schumacher had that dog in
he had that dog in him. But
him.
yeah, that was just my little Lewis Hamilton Mercedes tangent. I'm excited to see what upgrades they bring this weekend, though. Also,
Yeah, apparently they confirmed a couple more upgrades. Uh, the ones they brought to the French Grand Prix were incremental, quote unquote, incremental small steps added to the car. But the important point is that they quote unquote have plans to introduce far more across the races that follow. So another mystery. We don't know exactly what Mercedes is bringing this weekend. Like, I'm pretty sure every team doesn't really go out and announce exactly what they're doing before the weekend. But I'm sure come Friday morning, we're going to see all over Twitter what exactly Mercedes is doing. But
Now,
apparently, they have something coming this weekend.
so they're saying that they're gonna do some more upgrades later and some bigger steps. It sounds like, but I think they're probably gonna wait till after the summer break.
I mean, I think they are
I
too.
think I think they'll bring some more small stuff this next weekend and try to gauge what that does, and then over the break is when they're really gonna have like they're gonna have some all nighters, overnight parties at the Mercedes factory, building this like season two, the part two of the car is gonna be crazy. I think.
See, okay, here's a hypothetical, though. I
Okay.
agree with you. I actually do think before they do anything hugely drastic upgrading the car, I think they should wait till the summer break. But here's devil's advocate. Do you wait for the summer break, or do you see what those upgrades do in a race weekend setting right before the summer break so you have all that data to take back with you
And
over the break
digest.
yeah, exactly. To see
Yeah,
it in a
that
race weekend setting.
I like that better actually. Yeah, I'm going balls to the wall this weekend in the Hungary GP then.
That's what I'm saying. So like I agree with both. I think both are actually kind of smart in their own way. One leaves you to developing the upgrade you were planning on doing more, so the success rate when applied to the car is way higher. But me personally, my graph is already trending up. We're already gaining on Ferrari. Ferrari's gonna beat themselves anyway. So why not roll the dice? Let's go ahead and upgrade the car massively and use this whole race weekend to put it under a stress test and just make sure we see the finish line and really push it and try to dial in for the race weekend and then digest all that data and build off that because now you just have a huge break and you saw everything in a race setting, and now you can apply all that data to the next race setting you have coming back, and it's spot. So I mean,
I like
like
oh
that's what I'm saying, bro. I,
oh
I like that plan a little bit better. I'd rather than
I
pull
like
the
that plan a
trigger.
lot better, especially with a track like Spa. Like you really want to be on your A game there.
No,
So
I mean that's what I'm saying. Like on Spa, in my opinion, you got to bring the best of the best. It's got high speeds, it's got elevation changes, it's got long corners, long chicanes, quick hairpins. Turn one is literally a hairpin. Like it's, I don't know. I think they should just pull the freaking trigger, do whatever upgrade or massive upgrade they got in store, and develop it through the break, and then be even better coming for Spa. If not
yeah,
winning, if not having a Mercedes win this year.
oh, dude, that would be big. But yeah, I think we can all admit that and agree that having a hairpin on the first turn is definitely a S tier characteristic. Cough cough. American Grand Prix.
I know, dude.
I love it. I love it.
It might be up there. It's
Yeah,
solidifying itself as an A tier track.
and we're gonna be there this year to watch it. It's gonna be awesome.
God, dude, it's gonna go so hard, bro.
Yeah. So other news going on in F1 coming out today. Porsche has just bought 50% of Red Bull Racing.
Breaking news. Let's
We
get
all knew.
right to the news.
Yeah. We all knew it was gonna happen, but still pretty crazy. Now they're 50-50 partners, so uh, I think the Honda days are over, which kind of sucks because they figured out how to make a badass engine, and then they just said, "Yeah, we're kind of done with F1. Not really our."
Yeah,
We're
which
like, "What?"
it's so weird. I've never. I mean, maybe I have seen it with engine builders or power unit suppliers, and then a team. But you would think a proven championship engine would have all the incentive in the world to stay with that team. Red Bull was down, but apparently Honda's like, yeah, nah, y'all can do it. Here, we'll do one better. We'll help you build your own, and we'll like supply the knowledge, but we don't really want to be in F1. Oh, psych, never mind. We're not going to do that anymore. Actually, we're going to just go ahead and pull out. and y'all can have Porsche now. Which I'm stoked. The Porsche deal is on paper now. But what does this mean for Honda for the rest of the year? We still have 11 races left.
I mean, I don't think this affects any deals that they have already. Like Honda's obviously still going to support them, and they're going to finish out whatever contract they have. But
Yeah, no.
seeing Porsche jump in, this that could be make or break for Red Bull.
It could be. It could go insanely good or it can go insanely bad. And it's like it could be like when McLaren was powered by Renault still, it was but they switched to Mercedes power and it's great. So it could either be they switch to Porsche and it's or they stay right where they are and they're fine, or the Porsche comes in and like just explodes the doors off and has probably one of the best engines on the grid, and now everybody else wants to sign with Porsche. Like,
Yeah.
if that's the case, Red Bull could be carving their own path for Porsche to enter even into more teams. So it could be awesome for Red Bull, but also awesome for the rest of the grid because if they see a proven engine supplier like Porsche is successful, I mean, what McLaren's with Mercedes, Mercedes is obviously Mercedes powered. Aston Martin's with Mercedes, Williams with Mercedes. Like that's four teams. Uh,
And then think about all the Ferrari teams. Like
Haas.
Haas might be looking.
Like that's
We
what I'm
got
saying.
we got a German team principal, Gunther. He might be like, "Oh, we got some German buddies. Let's get that Porsche power
Got some German buddies. You got to get that German power for our U.S. team.
and your German driver. Don't forget that."
Yeah, yeah. German driver,
But yeah,
man.
you got to think Williams. If I think Williams could be the first to jump if Porsche actually has some like top-notch engines. Williams might be the first one to drop the Mercedes power, but maybe not because
Actually, no, 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 I'm calling it. Aston Martin's going to be the first to drop Mercedes power because they have imposter syndrome.
they do copy
Yeah.
Aston Martin. Yeah,
Leave it up to
I
Aston Martin.
I will say, yeah, I think Williams and Aston Martin are the most suspect. I don't think McLaren will drop Mercedes. If
Nah, I don't think
I don't
so.
think they will consider it even.
No, you're right. I actually think McLaren is going to stay with that Mercedes power for a long time.
Just like I think Alfa Romeo is going to stick with Ferrari no matter
Yeah.
what. But I could see Haas. I mean, they you saw what they did to the Russians, bro.
You saw you saw what they did to the Russians. They could definitely go to that Porsche power if they wanted to. Now, do you
Yeah.
do a hybrid? Do you get powered by Porsche and then copy Ferrari's body styles? Like
If
do
they
a
do
little bit of
that,
both?
watch them become the premier team. You don't know, like
Dude, I'd love to live in the world where Haas is at the top of the freaking timetables and they're top of the standings. Dude,
that
I'm
would
gonna be
be
screaming USA.
insane. Yeah, I'll join the bandwagon. I mean, we're kind of already on the Haas bandwagon right now. We
Oh,
love them, but
100%.
I'll go full send to Haas bandwagon
No,
if that
I'll be
happens.
right there with you, honestly. But
But yeah,
let's
so
we got driver trends before the summer break, which basically what I meant by that, I wanted to talk about just go down the grid, each team, both drivers. What drivers are trending upwards and leaving on some positive, and what drivers are, going into summer break with some doubt in their head. And I
I
guess,
think we might as well start off with my favorite team, Ferrari, and I think
yeah,
Carlos is trending up and Charles is trending down right now.
I mean, yeah, that's just point blank, period, black and white,
Yeah,
correct answer right there.
Carlos is doing he's trying to be the number one driver. He's even saying that the shitty strategy that he told them to shut up about is actually good.
Like he's he's like, no, no, Ferrari can do no wrong. No, no, I am Team Ferrari. I want
I'm
to be
golden
here.
boy.
I no longer want the neon green freaking TV antenna on my car. I want to be the first driver. Like, like he's playing the game. He's playing the long game, and I think you're totally right. I think Leclerc's kind of trending down right now. He's in this weird like he's not doing bad. It's just this weird back and forth. Just morale in Ferrari is in this weird stagnant place right now. So I
Right now,
think,
Charles is where we had Max at the start of the season, where it's lose one, win one, lose one, win one. It's all sporadic. Like
yeah, it's
I don't
so
think he's
volatile. Yeah.
I don't think he's trending down very like drastically, but I think he's in a slump right now. And depending on how this weekend goes, that could like this weekend can either put him back to normal or it's gonna put him solidify him on the downtrend. You know,
Yeah.
because if he doesn't have momentum coming out of the break, that's gonna be a long time to sit and think about the first half of your season.
No, I mean you're totally right. It's exactly right. That's it's a weird position to be in, but that's the position they find themselves in. But from Ferrari, starting at Red Bull, I actually think both those drivers are both trending up. They're in a stupid healthy position right now within their team. You have Max Verstappen winning damn near every race he participates in. Sergio looking like the second driver at Red Bull that Red Bull has desperately needed since Daniel Ricciardo left. Um, you have, dude, they're both. Sergio's about to be second in the standings. Red Bull's about to be first in the constructors and have both their drivers 1 and 2 in the standings. They have probably the most healthy relationship between both drivers. Yes, Checo has some rocky times with, hey, I think that's extremely unfair for team orders. Hey, this, that, and the other. But I think every day Red Bull's working on trying to make synergy and their morale as best they possibly can, and I think Red Bull's trending up on all fronts.
Well, I think Checo is actually kind of going a little flat right now. I wouldn't say he's going down,
Oh,
but I think he's going flat.
he's plateauing, some could
I
say.
think he's plateauing a little bit. Yeah, like this last weekend especially, he didn't really have the pace there. Like,
It's
he
true. He
got
did.
jumped.
Got caught napping too. He got.
He got jumped by Lewis at the start. He I don't know. He had that little battle with George Russell where he should be able to beat George Russell just in the machinery alone, and then he got caught napping, like you said. So I think he's going flat. I don't know. I think the weekend before he was a little lackluster as well, if
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken. Did Yeah. So I don't know. I think he's flat, but Max definitely trending up. Like he's the driver to be right now. He's definitely him and Lewis. I think are the two best drivers. I think Charles is trying to get there, but I think clearly Max has more talent than him now.
Ooh, you said more talent.
I
You
did.
said more talent. Interesting. That's okay. That's interesting. What do we think about Mercedes? Both of their drivers. I think Lewis is
Lewis is
trending up, obviously,
he's definitely going up. Yeah.
and there's some.
George.
It's hard. It's hard to peg George because it's just been Mister Consistent, the same spot the whole year. So it's hard to like say if he's going up or down.
I think honestly, based on because of his consistency and he was out qualifying Lewis and finishing ahead of him, I guess you have to say he's kind of coming down a little bit.
I guess yeah. I guess he's just getting regulated back down because
By definition, he's trending down. He's reverting back to his mean.
by definition, you're correct. You are right. It's and we're saying he's trending down as a positive thing because like you can only stay consistent for so long, and he still is consistent. It's not like he lost anything. It's just not. It's not improving at the rate it would like to be. And with Lewis coming back now, which hopefully Lewis starting to mix in, out qualifying George or finishing higher than George. Hopefully that does nothing but push George even harder. So
Now, here's something I've kind of noticed is in the last two races, it seems like George has been involved in a couple racing incidents,
he
primarily
has.
with Checo. So is that the pressure that Lewis is now starting to do better, getting up to him, and he's trying to overcommit and try to prove something?
I mean, we can't. Nobody will know that for sure. But I mean, man, you got to question. You got to question it sometimes because we see that pressure with when Max does good. Checo has to be up there. When Lando does good, Danny Rick has to be up there. If Lewis is doing good, especially with damn near the whole season up until these last two races, it's been the George Russell stuff. I mean, Lewis Hamilton felt that pressure. Now he's putting the pressure back on his teammate. So,
Yep.
in a healthy way, you can only. I mean, I think the Mercedes team from the top down is actually like Red Bull's in a healthy spot, but I think Mercedes might be on full throttle on all fronts. So it's like I don't think you can say anything really bad about Mercedes other than George can pick it up a little bit more with consistency, and Lewis Hamilton's back.
I'm actually struggling to even say that now because they just shared their first podium together this weekend.
Yeah,
So
that's what I'm
so
saying.
I guess George, he's I guess he's kind of running flat also a little bit.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to peg him. It's hard. Yeah, phrasing. Um,
Phrasing for
yeah.
oh, man.
It's
Shout
hard
out
to
to
pin him
Archer.
down to like a trend because
Phrasing.
he was. I'm sorry. I like George Russell. What? Um,
Yeah.
no,
Oh,
he's just been very consistent the whole time. But McLaren. Let's move on to McLaren.
I'll let you take this one. That's your team.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's some weekends Danny Rick's trending up, then he's trending down. Lando's been fairly trending up the whole time, but these past 2 weekends he's been the guinea pig for the upgrade, so that makes sense. They're in a weird like I'm gonna put them no correlation.
Really? Because
I'm
I
gonna
was gonna say
put
both the drivers are trending up.
which they are, but I don't see it with consecutive weekends. Like I see them look great on a weekend, and then the following weekend, I'm like, well, okay, this past weekend, they actually look fairly decent. They were just victims of the track. They can't do anything on the straights. They look better in the straights. They just still can't do anything in the straights. So they were just exposed by the track. This track, if they can keep the same shit they brought last weekend and apply it to this track, I actually think the graph will trend upwards and everybody will be in a positive direction going into summer break. So it's like, I'm not saying they're trending badly, but I can't even confidently say if they're trending upwards right now. It's weird. They're in a
I
weird
feel
spot
you.
for me.
No correlation. Okay, I like that. But I'm still thinking. I'm saying they're trending up, in my opinion.
Yeah, I that's fair. I can agree with that.
Alpine,
Trending
Alpine,
up, trending up.
Alonso is definitely trending up, man.
Yeah,
He's
I would even say
he's
Ocon's on a little trend going up, but Alonso's definitely he's driving like he wants to race for the next 10 years, bro.
hell yeah, yeah, definitely. That's the easy one. We got Haas, and I think Mick hands down is trending up.
Yeah, 100%.
Um, Magnussen,
Kevin's just kind of tapered off. He's plateauing.
I think he started out really hot. He fell back down to reality, and now he's kind of just stagnant a little bit.
Yeah, it's been an up and down. It's been a weird up and down year. He starts out really hot, has a series of DNFs. Some his fault, some not his fault. Just kind of looks. It looks like they had all the pace and then none of the pace, and then now they're finding it again with more upgrades. So I think Haas as a team is trending up. Mick is trending up like +2, and then freaking Magnuson is he's not going down, but he's having a little bit of just an up and down balanced. Okay, what are we getting this weekend? Like he's
I
just
think
having one of those
Magnuson's
years.
just riding the overall team trend and not doing anything to really like
Yeah,
push it forward.
I agree.
Yeah.
What do we think about Alfa Romeo?
Honestly, it's hard to even say because their car is so inconsistent and one week they DNF, one week they finish.
It's almost like they swapped positions. Valtteri was trending up, and then Joe was trending down. Now Joe Guan Yu's trending up, and Valtteri's kind of trending down because of the inconsistency with the car. So
So for that car and I might even say the Aston Martin, it's kind of hard to even tell where the drivers are trending because the car is just not there.
yeah, it's hard. Like you're right. It's hard when it's so split like that. When it was very beginning of the season, it was VB and VB all the way, and Joe Guan Yu played catch up. Now it's Joe Guan Yu and VB's trying to play catch up, but it's because of the car. Neither of them have had like consistent 2 or 3 weekends in a row.
I
So it's
guess
like it's weird.
for them, we just have to look at their qualifying performance, and I think yeah, Joe is definitely trending up. He was out qualifying Valtteri, and that's his like specialty is that Valtteri is that really hot qualifier. So Joe's definitely trending up. I think Valtteri is just he's been staying consistent. Like he's not trending down. He's just flat as well. I would say.
Yeah, no, it's just hard with that car. That car looks great when it's firing on all cylinders, but we've had a bunch of mechanical problems with that Alfa Romeo the last freaking handful of races. I
Yeah,
don't think both of them together have finished a race in like 2 or 3 races, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, yeah. Well, let's go into Aston Martin a little bit. I kind of touched on them. I think Seb has been trending up.
Yeah, I actually think Seb has been trending
Yeah,
up, and Stroll has been kind of trending up as well, but like not in a. I guess what I'm trying to say is it's hard to trend up when you start at the very freaking bottom.
yeah. It's
It's
hard to not trend up. Yeah.
it's yeah. I guess like I have to throw an attaboy his way,
The
but
way that I said that it was George Russell's trending down by definition, that's kind of Stroll's trending up by definition. Like you can't be worse than the
yeah,
Sebs.
you. I think the Aston Martin hit new lows, and there is nowhere to go but with whatever they do. So that's what I feel about Stroll. But with Sebastian, he's finding the pace a little bit more consistently. It's not so sporadic anymore. Of one track he has all the pace in the world, and then one track he doesn't. It's almost like he's not even participating. So it's like he's finding a little bit more consistency with it. The problem is that on certain tracks it either exposes Aston Martin completely or plays into their favor. And if it does play into their favor, it's really only good enough for like P8 through 12. That's about it, really.
Yeah. Uh, I hear you. I agree. I think last team Williams. Did we miss any of the other teams?
Yeah, we did. AlphaTauri.
AlphaTauri, man, easy to forget those guys. We'll talk about them first.
Oh my god.
Pierre Crashly definitely is trending down this season.
Oh, it hurts so bad. It hurts
Yeah,
so bad.
and Yuki, I don't know.
It's a
He's
hard one
kind
to
of just
figure out.
he's flat.
So there's not too much to talk about in the AlphaTauri camp right now, and that's why we forgot about him. Like, there's just not much going on. It is
Yeah,
freaking boring over there. I have no idea what's going on.
yeah.
But
They're in
let's
their own little
let's
la
get
la
to
land.
Williams.
Williams, we saved the best for last, and I think it's safe to say Albin. I don't. I
Can
don't
we
think
get
he's
Albin
trending up.
some help, dog?
Yeah, he's flat, but I think that's because of the team. Like he has some stunning performances, like where he's really on it, and that just goes to show how good of a driver everyone knew he was. So that's why I don't think he's an uptrend. He's kind of just the same.
He's
And
kind of
then
just that. Yeah, he can only do so much.
Latifi's fallen off again. He spun
Dude,
out last race. He hasn't spun in a minute.
and nobody even knew because it was so boring.
Yeah,
Like, I'm not trying. This by no means do I want to sit here on my little armchair doing my F1 analysis and just go in on Nicholas Latifi every episode. But damn it, bro, he makes it so easy.
we
Like,
gave him his props.
I mean, yeah, we did, but like,
We gave
dude,
him his just dues.
it's like,
But yeah, he's trending out of F1.
please, he's trending out of F1. He's slowly coming out of there. Nick DeFries is about to sign that deal, or maybe Piastri, or maybe someone like that. But I think
Yeah,
Nick DeFries is getting that seat. He's been doing a lot of testing throughout teams this year. Like, I think he's getting that seat. And Williams, that new team principal wants to win. So I don't know. I think the team wants to trend upward. They just can't find any sort of consistency, unfortunately.
yeah, I agree with you. But
But
that that's what I'm thinking trends are. I think let's go into our race predictions
last
and see.
segment of the
Yeah.
show.
This is a musical episode.
um,
Uh,
Come on, give me a hot take this weekend. What are we seeing this weekend? Just
you want a
overall
hot take
prediction.
this weekend?
Yeah.
I'm taking a note from you. You said Mercedes is going balls to the wall and upgrades this weekend, and I guess it's not really a hot take. I think they're gonna
They
get
gotta do it.
third. They're getting third. I think I think Ferrari is gonna pull off their 1-2. They seem confident about it. This is the track for them to do it. So I could see a Ferrari 1-2.
Sticking
and
to your guns. I like it.
Lewis is third.
Okay. Wow. So you don't even have the Red Bulls on the podium at all.
Nope, I do not.
Whoa. Okay. For Ferrari 1 2, who's winning?
Hmm. Hmm.
Where are the
It,
team orders going to come in?
man, if we look at our driver trends, Carlos Sainz is going up. So is
I'm
it
telling
Carlos
you.
Sainz's second win? I'm calling it.
Oh, we have it. Breaking, 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 breaking. Carlos Sainz second win under Grand Prix 2022. I mean,
Yeah.
like, I like it. So Carlos first, Charles second, and we have Hamilton third, and we have both the Red Bulls and George Russell kind of mixed in 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah. I think that makes sense. I think Max fourth obviously. And then I think George gets the better of Checo and then Checo six.
All right, I see yours, and I raise you one. I think the Ferrari problems still continue. I
Okay.
think I think they, due to just some wild events that happened during the race, I think they both find themselves off the podium. I don't think either of
Oh,
them get in the podium. I'm saying it. I want them to. I want them to make the championship more spicy. But I think this weekend Ferrari finally concedes victory to Red Bull. They they finish outside of the podiums. I think Lewis Hamilton gets his first race win this year under the Mercedes banner at first.
oh
I think
wow.
Max becomes second. I think Sergio is third, and George Russell at fourth.
Dang, that is a spicy spice. We had some crazy predictions this weekend.
I tell you what, Chris, if mine or yours comes true, I actually think like because I'm seeing the Ferrari struggles continuing, I think the 1 2 is a stretch. But if they score that 1 2, that would be even if they do it exactly like you said, and even if we see a Red Bull DNF, that would be great too. But if we see both the Red Bulls out of podiums and somewhere between 4, 5, and 6, maybe even 7, depending on how shit goes, if we see Ferraris finishing 1 2, that is massive for the championship. And
Yeah,
that would be the only thing to keep them in because even if Charles finishes first and Max finishes second, that's still not enough right now.
that's true. And here I'm thinking this is track caters them. I could see Lewis getting his first race win because of that same step right there with the Mercedes is pretty solid all around in a lot of areas, but I think it's definitely a little bit better in the corners,
Yeah.
not the slow speed corners like the
Yeah, the
Ferrari is.
quick chicanes. You're right.
And again, shout out F1 data analysis. We love this guy's page, and if you're not following him, I don't know what you're doing, honestly. Like, do you even like the sport? But he put up a sector graph that showed he's been doing Hamilton, Leclerc, and Max now. And yeah, you saw he was killing one section that was a little twisty guy, but Ferrari would kill those like really tight corners. So
No, each
I
of his
think
track breakdowns, you can see in the corners, it's highlighted that turquoise blue for
yeah,
Lewis, and he's owning damn near 80% of the corners.
yeah, Lewis,
Like,
man.
he's a freaking driver, baby. He is a smooth operator. Shout out Carlos Sainz.
Yeah, I think seeing Lewis get his first race win of the season would be so amazing. But also Carlos getting a second race win would be
Would
pretty cool
be
because
equally as amazing, yeah.
especially if Leclerc finishes behind him because so many people were giving him shit about his first race win and how it wasn't legit and blah 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 and yeah.
Yeah, and if Sainz can pull out another race win with George kind of behind him, that creates an even bigger gap between him and George because George is on that ass behind 1 point.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Yeah, brother. He needs to create a bigger gap because Mercedes is what? Less than 20 points away from catching second place, and then George is less or literally a
One.
point like behind Carlos Sainz. That's
Yeah.
a good spot to be in. And with Lewis Hamilton coming in form now behind George, yeah, you better tighten up because you need to tighten up to be Red Bull and you need to tighten up to stay ahead of Mercedes. You're in a competitive sandwich now.
Yep. Well, I think those are great predictions. Also, I think McLaren they'll do pretty solid this weekend.
Yeah. Uh, that's been it
I can't
though.
wait to see the Haas though. I cannot wait to see the Haas. We'll see what they do. I'm hoping they
Dude,
get double points.
I'm literally gonna wake up early Friday, watch practice, and the moment they get out of that garage, I want to see that car. I want to see what they've done to it.
Yep. Well, yeah, this was the Lockup Podcast Hungary Grand Prix predictions. We did a little talk. We did a little fun segment on the driver trends. I liked that one. I hope you guys enjoy it. You can catch us on Twitter at TLUPF1, YouTube, the Lockup Podcast, and then we're also on Anchor.fm or Anchor.fm / the Lockup Podcast, and then that streams to all the different platforms. So wherever you guys like to listen, check us out. Give us a like, show us love, give us comments. Uh, Check us out on Twitter, and yeah.
Hell yeah, Chris, that was beautiful. But yeah, dudes, we'll talk to y'all after this weekend. I'm gonna be traveling Sunday for the race. I'm gonna watch it in the morning, but no, we'll be the post race. The post race episode might come out either Monday
Later,
or early Tuesday, but
yeah,
it's
later than
looking
we normally do.
yeah, it's looking early Tuesday. But your boy will be on it. Shout out to Chris for doing the outro. Follow every single one of those rules he told y'all to do, and y'all have a good day. Later.